shoulder of lamb is an excellent joint for doing what I'm going to do, and I'm going to cook this low and slow for about 3 to 3.5 hours, and you'll see why, so stay tuned. Right, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put some rosemary in the bottom of my roasting pan. You can use dried rosemary as well, and I've cut a garlic knob in half, and I'm going to place that upside down. Oops, there you go. Upside down in the pan, like that, and likewise with an onion, which I'm going to put upside down in the pan, like that. Okay, the next thing we've got to do is we've got to spice up this thing. So I'm going to go nuts with the pepper and salt, like that. You see my hands in a bandage, I'm still suffering. I'm suffering for my art. And I'm going to give that a good rub in. Press it in and rub it. And then flip it over and do the same. Now, people will complain that the lamb shoulder is a rather fatty joint, and this is excellent Welsh lamb. It's not particularly fatty lamb, but the fat is part of the charm in this. It helps it cook so tender and delicious. So there you are, that's that all nicely seasoned up. Plenty of pepper in my case, and that just sits on top of there. Alright, let's try and get it so that it sits nice and evenly. There you go, look. So there it is, sitting nice and evenly on there. I'm going to drag that back into the field of view. So, and the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cover that with some foil. Okay, I've got one sheet of foil which I'm just going to cover over it. And I'm going to double wrap this with another sheet of foil. We were trying to preserve the heat and the steam that will be generated during the cooking in there. Alright, for those of you who have the right barbecue equipment and the decent weather, I'm sure you'll know how to roast a shoulder of lamb, but you're doing this low and slow. Alright, we're going for pulled lamb. Alright, so that's going into the oven at 200 degrees Celsius, which is 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and as soon as it goes into the oven, it goes into a hot oven, but then you crank it on down, and then I'm going to just turn it right down to 150 degrees Celsius. I'm not quite sure what that is in Fahrenheit, but I'll probably put it in a footnote here somewhere. Alright, so let's get that into the oven. I'm going to check it periodically just to make sure that nothing's going wrong, and I'll get back to you when that's done. Alright, once you've got it out of the oven all nice and tender, we can then use 2 forks in this manner to start scraping it off the bone, same way that we do pulled pork. I'll get back to you when all that's done. So there we are, we've got it all divided up, and it's now looking, for all intentions, very much like pulled pork. And as you're pulling it apart, you get the large pieces of fat which you can discard. Right, the next thing we want to do is sort out the gravy for this pulled lamb. Alright, I've strained off the most of the fat into this pot, which I'll now keep. That will then set at room temperature, and I will keep that for other things for which I like to use lamb fat. What I'm now going to do is in the remainder of the fat that's in the pan, along with the onion, the garlic and the rosemary and the juices from the meat, I'm going to now stir in about a tablespoon of flour into that fat and get that going. This is how we get the gravy going. And we need to mix that now into the fat. Don't worry how it looks now, because that's all getting strained out. And you see what I'm doing? Good old Spoonzilla's really earning his keep today. And don't worry about making a mess, because this all strains out. So we're doing that over the heat. Don't worry, it's not the most attractive thing on the planet. All will come well. Alright, you get to this point now and you see it's all starting to fry. The flour's completely mixed in with the fat there. And now what we do is we introduce some water to that. And that starts our gravy off. It'll go rather thick to begin with, but don't add too much water until you know where your thickness is on the gravy. Now that's picking up the flavour of the garlic, the rosemary and the lamb. And it's turning into rather nice brown gravy, look. There we go. That's about a cup, a standard cupful. Round about half of that standard mug. And as you stir, you'll notice the gravy just gets browner and browner. Right, it's getting rather thick, so we're going to add more water. Very nice indeed. Right. So, once you've got it to this stage, it's just so that it's fairly nice and saucy like that, we now need to strain out the nasties. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to strain it out of the roasting tin and into a fricassee pan so that I can finish it off. So what I do is I just tip it through a sieve, making sure I get all that goodness in there. That can then go in the pan wash. And then the next thing we want to do, I'm going to turn the heat down now a little bit on that and use my Spoonzilla. Oh, that's made a mess. To get the rest of the good stuff out of there. And don't forget, in that net now there's a lot of concentrated flavour, an awful lot of goodness in there, so that's what you need to get out. It don't look pretty, but the results, boys and girls, are incredible. So there you are, that's it all dripping through, and some of the good stuff gets stuck on the bottom of your net, so make sure you capture that. I'm going to add a little bit more water at this stage and call back Spoonzilla from his duties of straining. And you see that lovely gravy now. It's at this point that you need to taste your gravy and test. I'm going to pull it off the heat a little bit and test. Oh, that's pretty good. At this stage I need to add some salt and pepper. Lots of pepper, because you know me, you know what I'm like. Loves me pepper. And salt to taste. It's needed a bit more salt than originally thought. And then we need to taste that again. New spoon. A little bit more salt. Okay, now the next thing we need to do is get in some mint sauce into there. So we take some of the homemade mint sauce that we made earlier, and you're going to need a good 3 or 4 teaspoons of that, and it brings along a slightly sour ness into the sauce, along with the vinegar in the mint sauce, and then we stir that in. It is at this stage we need to taste it again. New spoon. Oh, righteous. We now can take all of our lovely pulled lamb and drop it into that sauce. Let's get that out of the way. And then we mix it in. And that, boys and girls, is pulled lamb shoulder in a mint gravy. Thanks for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you would like to follow my channel, please subscribe and be sure to click the bell icon to receive notification of all my upcoming videos. Thanks for watching.